floss your teeth or else. When I was 9 years old, I loved going to the dentist. Well, I loved all of it, except for one part. Let me explain. Well, I'd go to the dentist every year, and I loved it. When I'd walk in, it smelled so clean and fresh. Everyone would be smiling ear to ear because their teeth were pearly and white. When I would sit in the waiting room while I was waiting for my appointment, I'd be able to read a little magazine where I could spot the differences. And when Pam, my dentist, would call my name, Amin, she would always have a little gift to give me. And when I would sit in the dentist's chair, I'd feel like a little prince, like all of the world's attention was on me. I loved all of it except for the end. Pam, my dentist, she would say, Amin? And I would say, yes, Miss Pam? She would say, Amin, are you flossing your teeth? And I would look at her and I would say, no. I was a busy kid. I've got things to do, places to go, people to see, deals to get done. I don't have time to floss my teeth. Come on. And every year I would visit the dentist's office. And every year Pam would tell me the same thing. I'd come to the dentist's office. It would smell so clean. I would sit in the area waiting to get seen. I would spot the differences. Pam would come with a little toy for me. I would sit in the chair, and again, she would ask me, Amin, are you flossing your teeth? And I would say no. I would do it the next year. Amin, are you flossing your teeth? I would say no. She would say it again. Amin, are you flossing your teeth? I would say no. Year after year after year after year after year would go by. When she would tell me, Amin, floss your teeth. Amin, floss your teeth. Amin, floss your teeth. You guys, 24 years I went to the dentist. And I began to scratch my head thinking, I've never flossed my teeth. And nothing's ever happened to me. What is she talking about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke too soon. In January, this year, in January, after 24 years, I woke up one morning and I felt a little something in my teeth. It didn't hurt too bad. It was nothing too serious. It was not a big deal. But as the day got on, the pain started to get stronger and stronger. My tooth was starting to throb like a pumping heart, and I couldn't think, I couldn't sit, I couldn't eat, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything. You guys, I felt like someone took a nail and put it into my mouth. It hurt more than anything I have ever experienced in my life. I remember going to my bathroom, finding the floss. I found it, and I started flossing my teeth over and 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 over, hoping the pain would go away, and it just wouldn't. And in that moment, I thought to myself, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I wish I could have gone back in time and listened to the warning that my dentist gave me each and every single year. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and hold on. I don't think that's... Are those some dogs and cats? Are Oh, no, they're not. Sorry, no, there are no dogs and cats. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to today's Khutba for Kids. And today we are talking about the hereafter. And I love this topic. I'll tell you, there's so many topics that we focus on with Noor Kids, but this one, Allahu Akbar, is my favorite. And as we read out of the first story, you're going to see why. Now, before we get started, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Brother Amin Aaser, and I am the author of Noor Kids. What is Noor Kids, you ask? Great question. Great. You're a smart person. Did you see the question they asked? Oh, you did? Okay, all right. Great question. Noor Kids is an akhlaq building program in which every month you get a new book delivered to your home. Books like Honestly Speaking, or The Dark Whisper, or Happily Ever Hereafter, or I've got so many books here. I always pick the same ones. Not So Smarty Pants, Out of Control, Take the High Road, Right versus Wrong, and so many more. Anyways, right now you have the opportunity to try Noor Kids for just $1 at noorkids.com. So that way you can start to benefit from it. All right, enough about me. Let's get to the story that I'll be reading today. It's called Happily Ever Hereafter. Now, every one of our books follows the story of 4 kids, Amin, Shireen, Asad, and Amira. They live in a city called Maple Grove, and they go to a school called Northport Elementary. You can see Shireen here. She is a trailblazer. You can see her playing baseball. She's got a twin brother named Jaffer, and lots of times you'll see her exploring all around the world because she wants to be just like her mom, who works for National Geographic. And then there is Amin. Amin's a sports star. He loves baseball and soccer and football. He's got an older brother named Hasib who's in college. And the one thing about Amin is sometimes he does stuff without thinking about it. Because of that, he gets into trouble. By the way, my name is Amin too. Shh, don't tell anybody. All right, then there is Asad. Asad is a scientist. He loves breaking things apart just to figure out how to put them back together again. He's got a little baby sister named Yusra. And then there's Amira. Amira is an artist. She loves exploring all of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's beauty through art and poetry and painting. Now, these 4 are the Noor Kids. Every one of our books has 2 stories in it. I am going to be reading one story called A Home in the Hereafter. Allahu Akbar. Get ready, guys. But before we start, I need you to say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Did you say it? Say it loud, say it proud. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. By the way, I say Bismillah before I do anything, and you should too. Remember Allah and the blessings He's given us. All right, let's get started. This is the best Eid festival ever, says Amin. Look at this. They're at the Maple Grove Islamic Center Eid Festival. Can you see that? And there's like a piñata, and there's like a carnival. Asad says, by my calculations, that piñata holds at least 125 candies. Oh man, I love piñatas. When I was a kid, I always wanted a piñata. I never got one, but we were able to put it in the book. By the way, if you don't know what a piñata is, it's something like this where people try to hit it and then the candies come out. Shireen swings the bat with all her might. Crack! Alhamdulillah, there's so much candy, says Amin. Let's see who can collect the most, says Asad. Shireen and Amira win the 3-legged race. Yay, says Amira. Look at how much fun they're having. The 4 friends feast on delicious food and desserts. The best biryani ever. Biryani, Allahu Akbar. If you guys don't know what biryani is a type of rice dish that is splendid. And, you know, on Eid and different celebrations, sometimes we get the opportunity to cook it. And if my wife Sana is listening, you know, maybe we can have a celebration soon. Anyways. All right, let's continue. I like the baklava, says Asad. I wish we had Eid every day, says Amira. Amin's family is the last to leave. He takes a final look at the field. There are candy wrappers, plastic bottles, and napkins all around. Wow. This place is a mess, thinks Amin. Look at this. There was a big Eid festival at the masjid that everyone enjoyed, but now look at how dirty it is. And there's this one gentleman who's looks like he's picking it all up. Amin sees Harun uncle, the masjid caretaker, humming to himself and collecting the trash. Amin, why don't you stay and help Harun uncle clean up, says Hasib. All that mess, says Amin. Yeah, I'm sure he can use the help. Harun uncle smiles brightly when he sees Amin. What are you doing here, champ, says Harun uncle. Amin says, at your service. Amin is very fast. He picks up 3 pieces of garbage to Harun uncle's 1 piece. Now, and he says, I used to be fast. And Amin says, really? All right, now, before we go on, a couple of questions. Number 1, do you help clean up after gatherings or dinners at your masjid? Now, by the way, I know that many of us have probably not been to masjid in a long time because of, coronavirus. Actually, I shouldn't cough because then, anyways. Oh, but at home, for example, do you help clean up? And when you do have an opportunity to help out, do you do that? I hope you do. I hope you do. The reason why is because every time you do that, you get a good deed, right? It's kind of like, imagine a lot of people have a piggy bank or a bank account where they collect coins. Well, every time you do a good deed, you can collect your good deeds. Okay? Now, why are those good deeds valuable? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, what does Amin staying to help show about what type of person he is? So Amin decided to help, right? He stayed after. He said, you know what? There's an opportunity. What does that say about Amin? It means that Amin is a good kid. Amin is someone who cares. Someone who sees an opportunity to fix something and he does it. Just like me. No, I'm kidding. But his name is Amin too, and my name is Amin, so you know. All right, let's continue, all right? Let's continue the story. I played center midfield for the Midwest Foxes, says Harun uncle. A real-life soccer star? Do you play? Asks Harun uncle. I'm a striker, says Amin. MashaAllah, let's see how many scraps you can pick up in 60 seconds. Amin sprints across the field and picks up a lot of garbage. Amin, I think I'll just rest here a bit. My old back needs a break. Harun uncle sits and recites something softly. With Amin's help, the field is clean in no time. Harun uncle offers to take Amin home. How old is this car? Asks Amin. I got this car when I first came from Afghanistan. It was new then. Why don't you get a new car? Says Amin. Well, this one is fine for me, says Harun uncle. We're old together. I'd rather send money to my family in Afghanistan than drive a new car. The car pulls into Amin's driveway. Amin waves goodbye. He hears Harun uncle reciting softly as he drives away. Look, he says, goodbye. The next day, Dad gets a call. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, says Dad. What happened, Dad, says Amin. Truly, to Allah we belong, and truly to Him we shall return. Dad gently pulls Amin close. I have something sad to tell you, says Dad. Our dear Harun uncle passed away. That can't be right, says Amin. I was just with him yesterday. Amin quietly goes upstairs. I don't feel like playing today, thinks Amin. Later, Dad knocks on Amin's door. It's time to go to the masjid, says Dad. I'm too sad to go, says Amin, and Amin is sad. And if someone passes away, it's normal to feel sad. You know, like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when his wife, Lady Khadija, passed away, he cried. He was very sad. For me, when my mom passed away, I was sad too, and I cried, and that's normal, right? That's how we can feel. I'm sad too, says Dad. But we should honor Harun uncle with a proper goodbye. I don't want to say goodbye, says Amin. I know it's tough, but going to funerals is a sunnah of our Prophet. That means it is one of the traditions of our Prophet, peace and blessings be on him. It's an opportunity to remember Harun uncle and to pray for him. At the masjid, a huge crowd of people gathers to remember Harun uncle. Once I had a flat tire and he stayed late to help me, says this gentleman. After my surgery, he brought me groceries for a month, says this gentleman. He loved being a caretaker of the masjid. He said he was caring for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's home, says this man. He was always the first to come and the last to leave, says this one. Amin thinks to himself, so many people knew and they respected Harun uncle, Amin thinks. After the funeral prayers, Sheikh Tahir speaks. Harun often hummed as he worked. Do you remember that? He would hum all the time. Do you remember, like over here, he was humming before he left, and over here he was humming while he was on the bench? Did you ever wonder what he was humming? I asked him once what he was reciting, says Sheikh Tahir. He said, my Lord, build for me a home with you in paradise. This verse of the noble Quran was the dua of Lady Asya. Lady Asya, of course, was one of the most honorable women, right? She was one of the most honorable women. And what dua would she say? She would say, oh Allah, build me a home with you in paradise. And that was what he would always hum while he was working. It teaches us that every good deed we perform here builds our house in the hereafter. I'm sure Harun will have a castle in paradise, inshallah. Outside the prayer hall, Dad speaks with Sheikh Tahir. About that fund for Harun's family, we'd like to contribute, says Amin's dad. Excuse me, Dad, I'll be right back. Amin goes back into the darkened prayer hall. Tissues and empty water bottles litter the floor. Do you see that? And he thinks to himself, I miss you, Harun uncle. With watery eyes, Amin bends to pick up the trash. As he moves throughout the hall, he recites softly, my Lord, build for me a home with you in paradise. Allahu Akbar. I'm going to take a little sip of water. All right, so let's talk about this story before we move on. So first, what is this that Harun uncle was humming? Okay, he was saying, my Lord, build for me a home with you in paradise. And he would do it while he was doing good deeds. Why? Well, because all of us, every one of us someday is going to pass to the hereafter. And the hereafter is actually a beautiful place. It's a place where we have the opportunity to have a castle. Literally anything that we could think of, we can have. But it's kind of like a bank account. If we do more good deeds while we are here on earth, when we go to the hereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us much more. It's just like Sheikh Tahir said, that every good deed we perform here builds our house in the hereafter. So every time we do a good deed in this world by helping, picking, smiling, giving charity, doing our salah, giving zakah, helping people, it's like we're building our home in the hereafter. Now, how does Amin honor Harun uncle? He learns from him. Right? He says, you know what? In the same way that Harun uncle used to clean the masjid, now I'm going to clean the masjid. What a great way to honor him. If you know anyone who's passed away, maybe a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa, one of the best ways you can honor them. And when I say honor, it means Allah will give them blessings if you try to learn from them, right? In the way that Amin is learning from Harun uncle. So how does the community honor Harun uncle? They do it by praying for him. And what are some ways that you can build your home in paradise? Think about it for a moment. How can you build your home in paradise? By doing good deeds. Now, I want to share something with you. Sometimes when we talk about the hereafter, number one, I just want all of you to know that this is something that is real. Remember when I told you that story at the beginning about flossing your teeth? And sometimes people are like, well, are you ever really going to get a cavity? Are you really going to have a tooth problem? The reality is that it's important for us to know that this is true. This is a warning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us. Every single one of us is going to pass away, but it's not something to be scared about. I mentioned this before, that my mom passed away. That's a picture of my mom. Her name is Shaheen. And when she passed away, I was sad. And it's okay to feel sad. That's human. But for me, it changed my life. It changed my life in one of the best ways possible. You see, because I learned about the hereafter, I started to actually live my life. What do I mean? This here is a bottle of water. Now I want you to imagine, if you had this bottle of water, you got it from the tap, right? From the kitchen, or from the bathroom. And I came to you and I said, hey, I want to buy that bottle of water. You'd probably just give it to me for free, right? Because we have so much water. Unlimited amounts of water. Right? Right. But I want you to imagine that you had just this bottle of water. And instead of being in a place like this one or at your house, we were in a desert. And in the desert, there is sun that's beating on our face. There's sweat dripping down our cheek. We don't have any car. We don't have any transportation. We don't have any water. And our throat is starting to feel parched. And it's starting to feel dry. And our lips are starting to feel cracked. And our tongue is feeling like, oh my goodness, just one drop of water would make it feel so good. Now if you had this bottle of water, and someone came to you and said that they would buy it from you, you wouldn't even sell it. You would say, no, this is precious. This is mine. Every drop is so important because there's only this much left and I'm in this desert. Our time is very similar. You see, many people think that, oh, you know what? We have unlimited time. Just like water comes out of the faucet in the kitchen, right? Or like in the bathroom, the water out and it just keeps coming out. And we're like, oh yeah, there's unlimited amounts of water. We think about our time in the same way. Oh, we have an unlimited amount of time. Oh, we can do it. We have so much time. But you guys, that's not what it's at. There's a limited amount of time, right? And every day that passes, every hour that passes, every minute that passes is gone forever. Now the question is, how should we use it? As Muslims, we believe that every good deed that we do will help us build a home in the hereafter. So what's the best way to use our time? The best way to use our time is by doing good and having other people do good. Because then it's like, oh my gosh, every moment that I have, let me just put more into my bank account, more good deeds into my bank accounts. That way, inshallah, when I go to the hereafter, I'm going to have a mansion with 52 rooms, with a zoo in the backyard. I mean, not just giraffes, I'm talking we will have rhinoceroses, a white Siberian tiger, a bald eagle. I mean, you guys, it's limitless. Maybe a roller coaster. Maybe a roller coaster made of chocolate. But the fact of the matter is, because my mom passed away, for the very first time in my life, that light bulb went off in my mind and I said, whoa, I have an opportunity. I have a chance. I have a chance to put good deeds in my bank account. And every single one of you have that chance too. For me, I decided to leave my career and I decided to work on Noor Kids. So, if it weren't for my mom to have passed away, none of this would have ever actually happened. It's because that thought came to say, hey, I want to do good. And in the same way, every single one of you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and even the dogs and the cats, can use this as a reminder to say, hey, with the time that Allah has given me, how will I make the world a better place? How will I do that so that way, inshallah, when I go to the hereafter, I have a palace? Now, all of that said, last week I had asked you guys, or actually 2 weeks ago, you guys had done a video, and that video has been put together by Sister Ellen, and I want to show it to you, okay?
Dear Mr. President, I know you have just been elected as President of the United States of America. Congratulations. Real work is ahead.
If there is one problem I'd like you to solve, it is racism.
End racism. End racism. I care about this issue because it deeply affects my heart and I feel sad whenever I see people being mistreated.
We live in such an advanced era, and yet people are judged by the color of their skin, how they look, and what religion they practice.
People don't deserve this, and this world needs friendship and peace. If there is one problem I'd like you to solve, it is pollution, global warming, and wildlife conservation.
I care about this issue because animals are dying because of ocean pollution.
It is very, very bad for the environment and our health. People should use reusable bottles instead of plastic bottles. If there is one problem, I'd like you to solve it. It is, please help find a cure for coronavirus so that we can all be safe. It is causing a lot of death and economic destruction.
I want to see everyone healthy and happy, and also I want to go visit my friends.
Over the next 4 years, we hope and pray that you help lead our world to more peace and prosperity.
MashaAllah, I'm so proud of every single one of you that participated in that activity. And, you know, we had been talking a little bit about the elections, and we had talked a little bit about getting involved and things like that. And so I'm really excited for all of you who participated. And one of the reasons why I share that with you is, imagine, you guys, just for a moment, we were just talking about the hereafter, and we were just talking about how each of us can have a palace based on the good deeds that we do. Imagine if you were that person who made the cure for the coronavirus, and you saved all of these people's life. Think about the type of palace Allah would give you in the hereafter. By the way, did you know that the two people who created one of the cures, they were Muslim? Yeah, they were Muslim. The two people, Allahu Akbar, there's a cure, a vaccine, it's coming, inshallah. And they were created by Muslims like you and me. Imagine if you were that person who helped put an end to global warming or pollution or to end racism. Think about how much good deeds you would get. Allahu Akbar. And so these are all reasons why we remember the hereafter, so we can make our lives a way to do good, insha'Allah. Now, I need to ask you a favor. I told you that the reason why we created Noor Kids was primarily so that way we could do good work, right? Do good deeds. And we created all of this after my mom had passed away. And alhamdulillah, I'm so elated and excited about the fact that you and so many families love our work. But I want to tell you about the future. Wouldn't it be cool if Noor Kids was on Netflix? Wouldn't it be cool if we created an animated series, one that was full of imagination and wonder, one that was so funny that it would give you a tummy ache because you go so loud, one that told stories about kids like you and me, one that made us fall in love with Islam? Well, I want you to know that we are almost there. In 2 weeks, count them, 2 weeks, 10 days, we are going to be releasing an effort to create the opportunity for Noor Kids to create an animated series on Netflix. But I need your help. We want the world to know why Netflix should create a Noor Kids TV show. And so I want you to tell us why you love Noor Kids. I want you to tell us why you think that this would be a good idea. And the reason why is because we're going to take all of the videos you have, we're going to put them together and make a video. And we're going to create that video and we're going to send it to them. And inshallah, we'll get the support that we need to take our work out of the books and onto the big screen. And this will, inshallah, be the first of so many other Muslim children's animated videos and stories and movies to enrich our lives. And I cannot wait, but, I really do need your help. So, on our academy.noorkids.com website, right? You guys know the drill. On the academy.noorkids.com website, there is a little submission. And there's actually you can put whatever video you want, but we've actually created a little kind of script almost that gives you a sense of, hey, this is what you could write. I want you to, write down. And I'd like for you to actually create your video. Right? Ask your mom or a dad or your grandma or grandpa, whoever your caregiver is, ask their permission to videotape you. And once you do, submit it. Inshallah, we'll be taking bits and pieces from everyone's videos, putting them together, and we'll be making this as a way for us to tell the world that, hey, let's make this happen. Ooh, I cannot wait! Okay, anyway, sorry, I got too excited. All right, sorry, this is kind of weird. All right, sorry. I can't go. Hey, stop! Sorry. Sometimes when I get too excited, weird stuff happens. Anyways. All right, so you guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the program today. I know that I did. And I will ask you to do a quick favor with me again. For any of the people in your family that have passed away, and also for my mama, Shaheen, who passed away, I want us all to recite Surah Al-Hamd together, so that way this would be one good deed that we can give them while they are in the hereafter, so that way, inshallah, whatever palace they're living in, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them another room. All right? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was such a treat. Allah, Allah. I will see you at the same time, same place next week. Be there or be square. Oh, hey, hold on. One more thing. Did you know you actually don't need to floss all of your teeth? Yes. This is new. Just came out fresh off of the press. Do you know you do not actually need to floss all of your teeth? No. You only need to floss the teeth that you want to keep.